Alright guys, today's video is going to involve this mini dirt bike by SYXMoto. This is the VK 58cc 4-stroke mini dirt bike. Strictly made for kids. I think it goes for like 450 bucks on sale right now. We're going to do an unboxing, show you guys how to put this bike together the proper way. We have a skilled technician with me today. We're going to put it together. And we've had a SYXMoto bike in the past, the 40cc MT2, I think it was called. That was a super cool little bike, and we're still enjoying that. One of our nephews is enjoying that bike still. This is going to be a little bit larger, a little bit more like a dirt bike. It has aluminum wheels instead of plastic, a little bit heavier duty built than the MT2. Before we start the video, guys, make sure you go over to SYXMoto or SYXMoto, their website, to check out this bike if you guys enjoy it. It's the VK 58cc. It's on sale at the time of this video. I think it's under 500 bucks. Make sure you guys go check it out. They are also on Amazon and possibly a couple other third-party retailers. So definitely go check out SYXMoto, guys, and we'll get into the video right now. We're gonna rip open this box here. It looks like the lid comes right off. It's got some straps and some tape. When it was delivered to us on the UPS truck, it was wrapped in plastic wrap. So we peeled the plastic wrap off already. And I believe this is the blue and gray. Yep. So we have the blue and gray one. I'll get you in here a little closer so you guys can see the contents inside the box. So that's what we're working with. Looks like,
oh, colored instructions.
We'll see that.
With a QR code.
Instruction booklet / owner's manual. There you can see what the bike's gonna look like. A little bit more like a traditional dirt bike. And like I said, I think it has aluminum wheels this time.
Yeah.
There's one right there. So we'll reference the owner's manual later for some specifications possibly. But we're gonna first see what's all included. Oh yeah. Looks like the rear wheel is on the machine. The front wheel is what's sitting next to it. Handlebars are obviously off. Probably connected by the brake cables a little bit, yeah, right? The zip tie? Yeah. I think we're gonna have you just, lift it right out?
Sure, maybe. You want to pull the box out?
Yeah.
Set that wheel down.
Yep, we'll set the wheel down. We'll scratch it up. I'm just gonna slide the box out. And we'll have him set it down. Wow, is that got actual aluminum forks on it too?
Yep.
That's cool. Yeah, it might not balance the best there.
No.
Everything's covered for the decals with plastic protection, so that's good. This actually has a real exhaust pipe.
Yeah, it's got like a little can on it.
So that's kind of cool. Probably a little bit better performance there. Here's the axle bolt. And then toolkit basically has tools to put it together. Just basic hand tools, guys. I highly recommend that you use like sockets and wrenches and stuff that you might have at home. Probably a little bit faster on the install. We've done it with the other tools included in the kit, but a little bit faster if you do it that way. It does have a VIN number and an engine number on this thing. Wow.
Might have to register it.
Right?
What's underneath it?
Oh, the bar clips and the gas cap.
There we go. I knew there was some hardware somewhere.
All right, guys. So if you're wondering when you get this bike and you're wondering where the bar clamps may be and the gas cap, in a little baggie up under the main frame, that's where this was. It may have just fell down in shipping, but it comes in a plastic bag like this. So we'll make sure we inspect our gas tank to make sure no debris is in there before we put fuel in it for the first time. But cut down. I'm going to get you in here a little closer so you guys can see what Mark's doing. Get you in here a little bit closer. So we'll work on the handlebars and get those kind of mopped up.
Well, first
throw the fuel cap on
so we don't get any funny stuff in there.
Yeah, it even has a fuel filter in here, guys. Wow, and a fuel shutoff. Wow, this is actually a lot different than the MT2, guys.
Big upgrade.
Yeah. I'm gonna peel this plastic protection off of the exhaust heat shield because that's usually just gonna bake on there and melt.
And it looks bad.
Yep. It still has traditional primer style carburetor, so we'll go over that in a different video when we actually start this machine up, but still has the traditional primer style. But looks nice has a fuel shut off, a fuel filter. That's always good to see. It just means it has a little more quality, a little more time was put into just serviceability and longevity. And I think those bar clamps are bigger than the other one.
Oh yeah.
I think the other one didn't. Those are M8 by 125 metric bolts, and I don't think the little 40cc had that big of bar clamps. So that's cool. That's very cool.
So we'll run these all down evenly.
And I think the toolkit is better.
This toolkit is really a lot better. The other one was.
Yeah.
I mean, I think our wrenches were like.
Yeah, they gave us stubbies. This has actual full length Allen keys, guys. So that's cool.
I'm gonna leave these loose until we get
Yep.
it all together, so that we can
And I'll just kind of
adjust them.
carefully pull this protective foam off of here. Looks like we got it kind of taped on there. So we'll just kind of slide that off in there a little bit. So far, I'm actually quite impressed. I'll clean this up quick.
Wow, little hooks on the brakes.
That's different than the other one too, I think. Can't remember off the top of my head.
Very big boy bike orientated.
I guess we can put the front wheel in and
Yeah.
worry about those axle spacers and such. We'll put that front wheel on now. Actually tip the bike straight up in there. Good time now to check for any residual oil that may have, dripped from the factory, or if there's anything defective you see damage from shipping. Checking the bolts. You can see they were checked with paint marker. That's a good sign that from the factory they were checked. That one took a little bit. Oh yeah, good. Never a bad idea to check the bolts on the motor. That's pretty important there. They all snugged up, huh?
Top two are very tight. These two.
We got two more underneath here, guys. I'm actually going to check these as well. Oh, very nice and tight. Yep, perfect. All right. Now I got to remember, we have to look in our instructions which way they want us to put that in, but there is a spacer that's narrower than the other. You can see the difference there. And there's a nut on the other side, obviously. Shocks feel pretty good.
Oh no.
You're gonna want your nubs of the forks facing forward. If you put it on the other way, your caliper is gonna be in the front, and that's not right. So, try to remember which. I'm sure it'll become very clear. Wait a second. He's putting the lower caliper bolt in. There is a lock washer underneath the Allen bolt.
Just don't lose that little guy.
So like I said, this was basically tight. You gotta loosen it up, swing the caliper down. The caliper itself is threaded internally, so it will tighten itself up. And yeah, they did us a number on those Allen keys. Actually, you can use those. We'll try to use the toolkit as much as possible that they included, and we'll let you know where there's areas where we had to put on, or I guess use different tools than supplied. Just so you guys know if you guys get one. With brake components, you want those obviously pretty snug. You don't want your brakes giving out on you. And then like I say, we'll flip that around, and now it sits properly.
All right.
I believe. So that's going to have, looks like thick spacer there, thin spacer here, huh?
Yep.
Yep, there you go.
We don't need that one. Which way is the
Nut.
bolt going from?
I'm gonna put it in this way, left to right, but I'll check in the book afterward. said thick one goes here.
Yep.
So that's gonna be thin one here then. For just a skosh. Actually, what I'm gonna do, guys, before we get this fully in there, I'm gonna put a little bit of grease on that bolt. It's a safety precaution, but for now, we'll just tentatively set it on there so we can set the bike down. It's always a good idea to put a little bit of grease on that axle bolt. What we can do is try to hook the lower shock bolt in maybe. I forget how they did that. I think it's the lower shock bolt that's not hooked in.
Well, it's the upper.
Or upper, sorry. And that's, oh, it's right here through the side. Okay. Maybe I'll work on that while. The upper shock bolt there has to go in a bracket right here. So I gotta take the bolt out, slide it in, and then obviously tighten it. So I'll reach in through the back, and then right here with the nut, I'll slide it out. And I'll have Mark bring it down just a little bit more, and a little bit more. Okay, good. I line that up. And then there it is. And then you will tighten up the nut and bolt. I believe that's like a 12 millimeter. But there at least the bike is standing. So now we can work on, I gotta double check, like I said, the orientation of that front axle and spacer assembly. And then we'll tighten up that shock bolt. We'll see if in the instructions if it specifies. You're gonna put the front axle bolt in from the caliper side across, left to right. The thicker spacers on the caliper side, I'm sorry, the thinner spacers on the caliper side, thicker spacers on the right side when you're sitting on it. So we're gonna just tip the bike back up. I put a little bit of grease on the axle bolt, and then we'll slide it back in and we'll start to tighten that up.
17 on the other.
Sweet.
This one you might want to get a little bigger.
Right.
But it is a lock nut, so really you can't
go too far. Mark's getting it pretty darn tight there. Oh yeah.
Front brakes work?
Which ones? Oh yeah. One more time. Yep.
Sweet.
Front brake is going to be on your right side. Rear brake is on the left side. And the throttle, like I said, is adjustable. Oh, wow. They really upgraded the foot pegs too. I'm actually going to keep the front end lifted up so Mark can put that front fender on. And number plate. It's going to be a lot easier if it's standing up on its top like this. Probably than its bottom. We got that upper shock bolt tightened up and the bar clamp bolts kind of where we wanted the handlebars position. We're now going to put that front fender and number plate on. And then we're going to make sure that our forks are turned straight with the handlebars. They look a little bit tweaked. May have to loosen the triple clamp up a little bit. I guess this is a double clamp, not a triple clamp. But I am seeing an actual VIN number and a VIN, like a plate and everything on here, so that's kind of cool. Engine number, chassis number. Definitely made for a younger rider, obviously, with smaller hands, because I could see these bashing my fingers, as an adult rider on this machine. But like I said, this is oriented for beginners, young kids, that sort of type of thing. Fender on first. You're going to want, obviously, the SYXMoto branding facing forward. You can't really put it on backwards because the big part would hit the pipe of the exhaust pipe. So 2 bolts, right?
Yep, 2.
So we'll thread those in. These assemblies are definitely beginner friendly. Like, you don't have to have any real experience with bikes, I don't think. Would you agree?
No. Pretty straightforward.
Their instructions, in color at least, You can kind of make out what you are assembling, so that helps. But all in all, it's a decent little bike so far. So now we're going to remove the number plate mounting bolt, which is basically straight out facing you if you're looking at it. And there's 2 pegs, I believe, on the fender there, right, that you have to line up with your number pad. And I think all the cables and everything are going to go through how we have it. At least it would make sense to me why they have that cutout there. Yeah. Yep. That's perfect. So Mark just drops the fastener in the holder. It's recessed pretty far down, so kind of got to balance the fastener and then start it in there. I wonder if we had to loosen up the fender last time, or maybe we got her. Oh yeah. Got to kind of pull it out a little bit and then line up the hole and then thread it in.
Yeah, can't see it when the bolt's in there.
Yep. And then stuff like that, you just got to get it snug. Plenty. So that's all secured. You know, we have our cables ran through the cutout in the number plate. So obviously you have to peel all the protective stickers off. He's checking the shock saver or fork saver bolts right now. We know the caliper was all tight and everything. The brakes all worked. Throttle is operational. Other brake feels like it works. So that's good.
Alright.
Tip it back down. Ooh. I'm looking at the front forks. I'm just making sure that, well, actually, they look straight. Straight is straight, in my opinion. I mean, when I had the handlebars pointed forward, my nose cone's straight. I don't know if it's tired. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty close.
You'll be alright.
Foot pegs didn't have those zip ties on them, but you cut those off. They actually have decent spring. They're actually a little bit sharp. Or at least, you know, they're not sharp, but they have some waves in them so you can grip on, some boots. Kickstand's got a good spring to it. Like I said, we got our shock bolt tight. We checked the lower one, that didn't move. Recoil starts on the right. I'll bring you guys around on this side later so you can see the whole right side of the bike. I don't think they included a vent hose in the box.
They did not. They did not.
One thing I'd recommend, guys, is, well, actually, here it is right here.
Oh, look at that.
I lied. So your vent hose for your fuel cap is actually laying just inside of the left front plastic here. So you're gonna go ahead and hook that onto your fuel cap. And depending on, you know, it's cold where we are, so this rubber is pretty stiff. If you guys live in a warmer area, you know, this rubber will probably go on without any persuasion.
No persuasion.
We got that hooked on there. It looks like we got a little bar clamp here too. Or not a bar clamp, a bar pad. Checking the rear brakes. Yep. I'm just looking at the chain tension, guys. It actually feels okay. Might be a little on the tight side. So we got our handlebar pad on. We checked our functions. Just gonna make sure I can turn the handlebars without any restriction. That's good. Throttle. I can see the jam nut for the throttle adjuster is loose. You're gonna want to take that and tighten it up. I'll get 2 wrenches, unless they come with 8 millimeters at all in the kit. But
Oh yeah.
that's something you'll want to check here too. Is your adjustments for your brake cables. Making sure those are tight, and then just tightening up. Yep. Tightening up your adjuster for the throttle cable. And that sets the throttle cable free play, which we have a little bit right now, which is good. If that would be too tight, you know, that could cause issues when you turn the handlebars that the engine might rev up. So you want to make sure you got adequate throttle free play, and then the rubber grommets can just slide back over. Once again, being cold, our rubber is pretty stiff. So Mark's going to go ahead and start peeling the decals off, and then I'll take you guys for a little walk around and show you the whole features of everything. I'm gonna lean that bike down for a second. Here is the bike with the decals all peeled off, the protective film. It's actually a sharp looking bike, guys. Like, hopefully the camera can do justice to it, but SYXMoto, you guys did a really good job on that color scheme, especially this is the blue and gray. We had an actual graphic set for a full-size dirt bike identical to that kind of scheme. It looks so close to that. Like, I'm gonna have to get a picture of these side by side with that bike because the scheme is super similar. Love the look of that. The red pull rope with the red brake calipers and everything kind of looks cool. From this side, you can see all three of the red parts. Get you in here, you can see it's pretty darn sharp looking. We just got to put some air in the tires. Just check the pressure in them. See what the tire's rated at, and we'll go just below the max, typically. But there you can see all the way around the bike. Actually a pretty sharp bike, guys. Not gonna lie. So, starter side, recoil starter. It says pull start uses a torsion spring, steady even pull will start the engine. Rapid erratic pulling will cause the starter to break. General rule of thumb, guys, anytime you're pull starting anything, I don't care if it's this dirt bike, if it's a weed whacker, chainsaw, what's one thing you don't want to do, Spark? Tell the guys, how do you not pull start something?
Like this. I don't know, you know, it's too
You
bad.
always catch the recoil first. And Mark does it. Mark does it without even knowing that he does it because he's used to that. Yeah. But I see guys that'll rip and grab, and you're taking the pawls and you're just chucking them into the flywheel.
You want to feel it pull.
Yep.
And then yank, not.
Exactly.
You just want to.
Yep.
There it
You want to
is.
catch and then firm pull. So that's what they're saying. You don't want to do that because you're going to break the starter. So it does have a primer underneath on the carb, and you can reach it, I believe, from the left side. And the choke is the choke is right here, guys. So off and then on. So that's your choke. So there is a primer underneath. I'll show you guys that later when we do a startup video. Your fuel shutoff is right here. It's actually on right now. And then off would be straight up vertical. So there's an arrow there, and off is up there, and on is more of a horizontal. So what we're gonna do is get some fuel and check the oil and show you guys all that. And we'll do a first startup and a how to start up this machine. And then we'll be doing a riding video of it. So look forward to that, guys. That's gonna conclude the unboxing and setup of this machine. Once again, if you guys are interested in getting one of these, SYXMoto has these on sale, I believe, for under $500. They're originally like $600. So if you guys are seeing this video at the time that it's being made, make sure you go over to their website. It's SYXMoto.com. I'll leave a link to their website in the description. And there will be videos on TikTok as well. You guys can see some short form content of this bike. So make sure you guys go check it out there. It's also on Amazon, I believe. So if you guys are an Amazon shopper, go ahead and pick one up. Plenty of different colors. You got blue gray, green gray, black and white, blue and white, and green and white. So they have all the pictures on their website of each color. This is the blue and gray. I think this is probably the sharpest looking one, in my opinion.
The green guy.
Yeah, but the blue and the gray.
The blue, it is really nice.
Exactly. Once again, checking all the fasteners, just giving it a once over is highly recommended before you first run this bike. Definitely the safety aspects of it, brakes, axle bolts, steering, that sort of stuff.
Read your manual, wear your safety your safety gear.
Yep, helmets and gloves and boots and all that
There's a
stuff.
yellow tag in there that'll tell you that.
Yep. So hopefully you enjoyed the unboxing, guys. We're gonna get this thing fueled up and checking the oil and give you guys a startup video soon.